There's a lot of things I would have done differently, but here we are. It saddens me that our story has unfolded this way.
Oh, your TikTok is cute, bro. It's cute. I get it. You're doing your best to show face. Do whatever you need, bro. Like, talk to your team. Do whatever you need. But when you want to be a man, come talk to me like a man.
I love this outlet, and it exists because people watch. And without people watching, I just have a show like...
So a lot of you are fans of Impaulsive and have been watching it for many years now, and are aware of the Logan Paul and George Janko saga. We've even covered a number of videos on it from over 11 months ago. And well, it has now reached the boiling point following George Janko's podcast with Mike Majlak, as he accused Logan Paul of some devious and slimy acts. And Logan has now refuted them in a new video which has got everyone talking. So, what is really going on between Logan and George? Be sure to stick around till the end for the full details. He recently posted a podcast with Mike in which he talks about the moment he had to leave Impaulsive, because he felt Bobby Lee was touching him in places he didn't want to be touched, and Logan Paul was being disrespectful to his co-host George. For this reason, he left the show a few months ago and launched his own, highly successful podcast. As since leaving, he of course had his extremely viral Andrew Tate podcast, which is sitting on over 12 million views, and has enabled him to get some very popular guests on over the past few months. After many people said that you could never succeed if you leave Mr. Logan Paul behind, and he's proving them wrong, I believe that it was a quite nasty situation that was easily avoidable. We will break down everything that has been said in regards to Logan Paul and George Janko thus far to see the full situation. George's podcast with Mike is sitting on a strong 1.2 million views in a couple days, and the entire comment section is filled with posts like, "I now realize that the deep and profound conversations that happened on Impaulsive were largely fueled by these two. It makes me so happy to hear them talk again. God bless you, George. A man standing up for himself when all odds are against him is the definition of a warrior." The first time I watched Impaulsive, I've instantly noticed how strong George was, and knew immediately how true-spoken he was and still is. I'm happy/proud of you for stepping up and doing things on your own and with your team. This comment might go unnoticed, but you deserve all the good coming your way. You're a leader. Thank you, George. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the post notification bell. This way you'll never miss out on any future celebrity videos similar to these. One of the main pinpoints before George Janko officially left Impaulsive, and was the start of the end of his time on the show, was the Bobby Lee incident, which went super viral at its time, and made George Janko, the supposed comedian, look like he can't take a joke when in reality, as he claims, Bobby Lee was groping him the entire show. Yet it was edited out.
I never had a problem with Bobby Lee.
No, he knows
I
that.
had a problem with the way that Logan and you were kind of gassing him to keep doing. He started the episode putting his balls in my face. I let that one go. Then every 2 seconds, he kept grabbing my dick.
I don't think...
How would you feel if a man that has his back completely towards you, that only turns around to grab your dick,
right,
talk shit to your face, and you can't smack or beat the living breaks off of this guy? Because Logan makes me apologize to this man, or I don't have a job on Impaulsive anymore.
Which is insane when you think about it. As viewers watching that episode, it does just appear as though George Janko is being sensitive the entire time, as it making a big deal out of nothing. The fact he states Bobby was grabbing his nuts the entire time, and Logan and Mike were just allowing it, is pretty odd considering they're supposed to be his good friends. Additionally, if what he's saying about being made to apologize to Bobby Lee, or he would be fired from the show, is true, then that's pretty ridiculous considering the circumstance. As George claims he doesn't have a problem with Bobby Lee, but rather with the way Logan Paul or whoever edited the clip made him appear. If you watched the clips and were present when they were made, people would have said that George was just a little child and couldn't handle the jokes Bobby got to him, but it just sounds like a bad place to be around Logan Paul. George Janko then also touched on not being paid on the show for months at a time, to the point he was going broke from his spending just going to the podcast locations.
I had to leave for my own fear. When Logan came after me for my religion, the show hit rock bottom and we weren't getting paid. I was getting paid $5,000 a month, and that's covering just Reed. I have a mortgage, I have my sister that works for me, I have Belle, I'm trying to get married, I had all these things. So I had to start my own show because we're not making money on this show and I'm getting pushed out of this show.
Well, at the time you weren't making money. You made money on the show.
But at the time, we're a couple months.
How much money did you make over the course
I can show you my books. I was spending 10 G's a month being on the show.
Right.
This could have easily been handled behind the scenes. The fact Mike Majlak had to come out and they spent the majority of the time debating about why he left Impaulsive was never going to go down well or be productive, as it's just a back and forth without addressing the main issue, which is George and Logan's beef, which has come from all of this. This is why mixing business with your friends is always a tough one, as Logan and George have been friends dating all the way back to their Vine days, so to see their friendship crumble over business is a shame, but it's part of parcel of it. Then the massive blow was when George Janko claimed Logan Paul was making calls behind the scenes to tell George what he can and can't do, and even allegedly tried to prevent him from getting a Celsius deal on his podcast because of Prime.
Always grateful. I think anybody could see that. But when I got pushed out, and I'm seeing that I'm getting pushed out, and I start my own show, do you know what my final straw was?
What?
I got my show going, and then not only was I controlled and pushed around on Impaulsive, but then Logan's making calls and directing my show. And I'm saying, hey, man, you can't tell me what to do on my own show. That's not okay.
What's that about?
He told me that I couldn't take Celsius. And then I said, hey,
He
man.
didn't tell you that you couldn't
I
take
have text
Celsius.
messages.
Now we're about to get into Logan Paul's response to this situation, as he breaks most of George's points down, which isn't looking good for the guy, as he's blatantly exaggerating massively with some of his claims on his podcast with Mike. Before we go any further into the video, what are your guys' honest thoughts on this entire situation? Is it looking like the damage is already done between Logan Paul and George Janko, and their friendship cannot be fixed? Or would a podcast between the pair clear everything up so they can move on from this? Comment down below.
Show hit rock bottom, and we weren't getting paid. I was getting paid $5,000 a month.
But you did make a sizable amount of money on the show.
And by the
What
way,
would you say,
always grateful. I was always grateful.
like
for
that?
it. Yeah, I don't like to talk about money.
I know he doesn't want to talk money. I know he bleeped it out, but George made $317,000 in the 15 months that he got paid for on Impaulsive. The work requirements consisted of about 3 days a month, 3 hours each day, traveling the world, networking, and meeting some of the coolest people ever. It comes out to about $2,300 per hour, and he also had 10% equity of the entire show.
I mean, over $300,000 to just turn up to a podcast 3 days a week, and like Logan said, he was traveling the world, building up his connections, working 3 hours a day when the podcast would happen. That is a very good paycheck, which he should be having no complaints about. Fans have begun to switch sides with numerous posts like $315,000 in 15 months, that's good money. Bro breaking down everything. Best response I've seen.
Got my show going, and then not only was I controlled and pushed around on Impaulsive, but then Logan's making calls and directing my show. He told me that I couldn't take Celsius.
So this is the big one. Making calls, trying to make it seem like I wanted to control his show is absolutely ridiculous. As you can see right here, I was like, hey, we got to get you Prime because I saw him drinking our competitor, and he told me to call him. He was filming my reaction to tell me he took a deal with a competitor. I told him, please don't film. Like, I'd like to talk about this. I hope you're joking, by the way. The truth is, I thought it was a bad look that my best friend and co-host took a brand deal with our competitor without consulting me, asking me, giving us even a chance to match it before he signed the deal.
It appears as though George Janko isn't exactly happy with Logan's response, as bro really did cook him. He posted in a now deleted tweet, "Hey, no need to make TikToks, come talk to me in person. We can handle it like real men." At Logan Paul, he's clearly not happy with the truth coming out, and now wants Logan on his podcast for the views, which you can't blame him, he's hustling. But he got bodied by Logan in that video. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.